Alright, Dragon Ball Super episode 113. This is more or less the episode that's going to begin almost like, I don't want to call it like a mini arc, but like this little mini saga or whatever it is. The thing that is splitting the Dragon Ball community apart. Everyone is fighting and throwing shots over this. I am loving what's going on in the show right now. Episode 113, with great joy, the repeat battle, crazy Saiyan fight. This episode is entirely the fight between Goku and Caulifla, and then towards the end, Kale does also step in. Now, I get so confused at the complaints I hear all the time. I mean, we hear in Dragon Ball Super not enough is going on, the animation is not great, just a laundry list of complaints. And then when these complaints are addressed, it's like the same people who complain about that stuff then find something else to pick on. Because I will say this episode looks great, fantastic. Lots of fast-moving fighting. Like, when people say, like, you know, I want to go back to Dragon Ball Z and stuff, like, this is the type of fight that we would have in Dragon Ball Z. Yet, this episode in particular spawned an avalanche of anger by the Dragon Ball community. Now, I'm going to try it, because this episode is just mainly just fighting, not that much gets explained, so this shouldn't take too long to kind of breeze through the review, recap of this episode, whatever the fuck it is. Now, the very first thing that is very, very important to address at the beginning of this episode is, I routinely hear that the Universe 6 Saiyans are bullshit because they just shit out their power-ups and they have no real backstory. But what confuses me is that these complaints would be more accurate to levy against the likes of Hit, or Jiren, or Toppo, or Dispo. Fighters along that nature. Even fucking Beerus. I feel like we know and have learned a lot more about like Kale and Caulifla than a lot of these other fighters. Tell me, what do we know about Beerus' backstory? Oh. Nothing. Okay. That's cool. We know something about Kale and Caulifla. And not only that, the development that we see with how Caulifla and Kale's relationship in particular. Like, again, I feel like a lot of people still are kind of, like, some people think that they are still actually sisters, which they're not. It's protege and master type relationship, you know. That's, she calls her Oni-san, but it's like, come on, like, watch any anime. That's just like Japanese culture right there. But like, we see the way like their relationship steadily grows, like, you know, even in this episode further forward. And I want to say they're kind of like humanizing, you know, these two characters a little more than a lot of the other characters in the tournament, yet they're causing like the biggest uproar. It's just, it's very weird. I feel like a lot of people who are complaining about the series there's something about it that bothers them, but they're not really able to accurately describe what it is that is bothering them. I feel like that's another thing that's going on, is like someone will have like a legitimate, like, you know, gripe about the show, but they're not able to properly explain it to others, which leads to this confusion and just basically the same couple points shit out by everyone of why Dragon Ball Super is bad, the writing is bad, Kale and Caulifla don't make sense, all of that. Like, at the very start of this episode, right, Goku and Caulifla are about to face off, and Caulifla is basically talking to herself saying, we lost Hit, we lost Kabe, and I wasn't able to do anything. I want to fight you, Son Goku. I need to take on more of the share to survive this. I need to get stronger. I need to push past Super Saiyan 2 and push forward to Super Saiyan 3. Like, that's the type of, like, just like we didn't really see Kabe doing a lot of that, or a lot of the other characters for that matter. Now, Goku responds with, yeah, sure, I'll teach you how to go Super Saiyan 3. And I feel like this line of dialogue went over people's heads a lot. Like, literally, this went flying over their heads. And Goku's next line he follows up with is, If you want to become 3, try to beat me. So what we have throughout this episode is, while Goku is fighting Caulifla, it's like he's slowly like teaching her what she needs to do. Like the fight is, allowing Caulifla to bring out more and more of her power. Before we even saw Caulifla, we were told of what her potential is from that Saiyan who Kale was talking to. So this stuff is not surprising. Now, the last thing Goku says before they start the fight is, I'm not going to transform. I'm still worn down from fighting Jiren. As we fight, I'll slowly pick up the pace. So throughout this whole episode, while Goku and Caulifla are fighting, Goku is not just trying to instantly defeat her. Also, keep in mind, Goku is vaguely aware of Vegeta and Kale, like their relationship. And remember, Goku was talking to Vegeta and said, "Damn, dog, that sucks that Kale got knocked out." And Vegeta was like, "It doesn't matter as long as I win." Goku knows what Vegeta wants to do: resurrect Universe 6 and get the Saiyans back. So Goku teaching Caulifla and Kale how to, further their power, become Super Saiyan 3, any of that. Like, it's not just, I'm going to, like, try and vaguely teach them and then I'm going to beat their ass and then they get erased and they're gone forever. Like, Goku knows that Vegeta wants to bring these cats back to life. So he's not just wasting his time. And, again, while teaching Caulifla, he is also able to build his stamina back up. So Goku and Caulifla, they start fighting for a while, and it starts out with Goku absolutely dominating her. And, like, a lot of people, like, mention, I'm not talking about, like, people watching Dragon Ball Super. I'm talking about, like, Champa, Vados, the Kaioshin. A lot of them are surprised, like, Goku's in base form, and he's just sidestepping Caulifla easily and, counterattacking and knocking her ass around. And they're like, whoa, I thought Super Saiyan was stronger. Now, Whis says one thing, which is that, Caulifla is like a brawler and Goku is like a trained, seasoned martial artist. She's not going to be able to fuck Goku up just by throwing out random attacks. But also, one thing that I do feel the community of Dragon Ball Super in its entirely does not really, I don't want to say comprehend, but doesn't think too much about, is that, like, these transformations don't have, like, a static power level. Remember, it's just a big increase. So, like, Super Saiyan is 50 times, and then, what is it? Super Saiyan 2 is, wait, is it double that? Yeah, Super Saiyan 2 is double that for, a multiplier of 100, and then Super Saiyan 3 is then an additional 4 times from Super Saiyan 2, making that a multiplier of 400 times. So Super Saiyan is 50 times, Super Saiyan 2 is 100 times, and then Super Saiyan 3 is 400 times. Now, remember, this is a multiplier of, like, that person's power, like Goku's power, Caulifla's power. Obviously, if they're fighting base form to base form, Goku is going to shit on Caulifla. Like, Goku, just with the God Ki, all the training he has, he's able to, output a lot more power. So this is why when, Caulifla is fighting Goku Super Saiyan 2, and Goku is kind of working her in his base form, that's not like, oh, what the fuck is this plot hole bullshit? It's like, no, Goku is a lot stronger than Caulifla. So Caulifla going Super Saiyan 2 is going to get her a lot closer to Goku's base form. Then, if Goku went Super Saiyan 2 to match her, he would just, like, crush her outright if he wanted. That's also another thing people need to understand, is that Goku is not going 100% to destroy Caulifla. 1, he's teaching her to go Super Saiyan 3. 2, he outright stated, and it has been stated, that he's still recovering from Jiren. Now, if y'all want to be mad that Goku is recovering from his fight with Jiren while also fighting, like, I guess I got you there, like, because, that's more of like a shonen anime type problem. Like, that's like the end of Naruto has that problem where they're fighting for like days straight, when previously in the series it's like they use 3 attacks and they're in the hospital for weeks. That's kind of a shonen anime type thing. And in this Tournament of Power, the way it's structured, I mean, that's just what we're gonna have here. I don't see it as that big a deal because, again, I do think Goku, the gap in power from Goku's, like, max to Caulifla's max is gigantic. Now, the fight is very fun, too, because Goku does use several techniques. You know, he uses the after image technique, just really reminded me, gave me a good nostalgia for, back original Dragon Ball Goku versus Jackie Chun. Goku uses the instant transmission, a bunch of different techniques to try and, just teach Caulifla more so how she should approach fighting Goku. And very quickly, Caulifla does adapt, and she begins to, I don't want to say overwhelm, but, she is actually able to hit Goku, knock him back and stuff. And it's funny because Whis says that Caulifla had that potential in her from the start, and by fighting Goku, her power and her potential are steadily being unleashed. And I love it because Beerus stands up, he's like, motherfucker, you just said she was only a brawler, and Whis goes, oh, did I say that? And I love that line right there, because people are also taking statements by Whis and Vados and a lot of the other angels, like, way too seriously. Like, Whis, his role in the Eternal Power is kind of like to explain some things to us, but he's not omnipotent. Like, he does not completely understand every little thing that's going on. Whis has made mistakes before. Remember during the Goku Black arc when Whis himself, was tossing out the theory that Goku Black was a fake created by the Super Dragon Balls, and that turned out to be just a red herring. So Whis, Vados, and the Angels, they do serve as kind of like a explaining stuff to the audience, but what they say is not fucking law. Like, they don't spit it out of their mouths and then instantly, oh, no matter what, that's the way it is, because it's not like that. And I feel as though this little exchange with Beerus and Whis was put in here to show that as well. Now, as the fight heats up, Goku actually decides to push it up to Super Saiyan 2. He skips Super Saiyan 1 and goes directly to Super Saiyan 2. And here, he really begins overwhelming Caulifla. Like, she's shocked and is like, is this the same Super Saiyan 2 power? And again, it's almost as though Goku is just stronger than Caulifla, and then he gets that, 100 times multiplier on him, and he's able to fuck her up quite a bit. Now, they go back and forth for a while. Goku clearly is holding back. Like, as the fight goes on, Caulifla's getting stronger and stronger and stronger. There's a point where both Goku and Caulifla power up, and, Cabе and Champa are, shocked, and Cabbe is like, holy shit, I had no idea Caulifla had this much power inside of her. Again, showing that the way Goku is handling this, he is really making Caulifla a lot stronger. Now, at a certain point, Goku actually calls to Kale and says, hey, Kale, what about you? And Kale walks up, and Caulifla's like, fuck yeah, let's do it. Let's become Super Saiyan 3 together. So Kale gets super excited. She goes Super Saiyan, and then Caulifla and Kale start to tag team Goku. And at first, they kind of get a little bit of the upper hand, and then it seems as though Goku kind of adjusts to their kind of techniques, their level of power. And at that point, he begins completely, parrying all of their attacks, despite the fact that they're constantly attacking him at the same time. Now, this causes Roshi to mention, oh, shit, did he just bring out Ultra Instinct again? And Beerus is kind of like, nah, I don't know. And then Whis flat out says, no, it's not possible. That shit is really hard to do, even for gods of destruction. And he says Goku would not be able to achieve it again that easily. He's just, his senses are being sharpened by Caulifla and Kale both attacking him. Saiyan's getting stronger in combat. This is nothing new at this point. Now, Caulifla and Kale, they do have really good, tag team attacks, combo attacks. They kind of punch Goku and knock him back, and then they both combine two of their blasts, very similar to when they took out a lot of the Pride Troopers. They do a similar thing here, shoot it at Goku. Goku blocks it with his aura, and then he kind of powers up further. Caulifla and Kale's blasts explode, a big explosion, and when the smoke clears, Goku is standing there in Super Saiyan 3. He went up to Super Saiyan 3 to block it. Now, this scene was very interesting because it's kind of very grandiose, right? It's oh, Super Saiyan 3, and Kale and Caulifla are like, oh! And the music is swelling up. Goku is in the iconic Super Saiyan 3 pose. And it's just the show is just kind of rolls out the red carpet hey, look who is here, Super Saiyan 3. And Goku immediately transforms back from Super Saiyan 3 to Super Saiyan 2, and he says, fighting you guys, I was feeling unbelievable power boiling up from inside, but I didn't have the stamina to continue to maintain that form. So, this is the thing, right? They're making such a big deal about Super Saiyan 3 that I am 100% confident that Kale and Caulifla will get it. And when I say they will get it, well, based upon what we see in the next episode preview, we know what's coming next. The very last thing that happens in this episode is Kale does, want to get stronger along with Caulifla. She wants to, power up and get the Super Saiyan 3, and she funnels and channels more and more of her energy, and she actually goes Berserker Super Saiyan, and that's how the episode ends, with Kale going back to her full Berserker mode. All in all, I think this is a fantastic episode. Big fan of it. This, again, is like a throwback to Dragon Ball Z, fighting non-stop from start to finish. And people who say bad writing, plot holes, none of that. It made sense. The episode made sense with what we've seen from Dragon Ball Super before. This is not like, oh, what an ass pull. Nothing crazy like that. I'm a fan of this episode. Next time, though, that next episode, oh yeah, we'll talk about that when we get there.